welcome back to another Halloween special. Tonight I'm gonna review Friday the 13th, the computer game for the Commodore 64. And let's go!
I wanna play video games. I wanna play them all day. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Friday the 13th is an action game that was developed and released by Domark Software in 1985. It is mostly based on the fourth Friday the 13th movie, The Final Chapter. It was released for the Commodore 64 on disc and tape, this is the tape version, and also for the Amstrad and Spectrum computers. Now there was also the NES version of Friday the 13th, but it was made by a different company, by LGN, and it was released in 1989, and in the end it's a completely different game, so I'm not gonna talk about this one. Be gone! Anyways, before we start with the game, there are some instructions on the back that we have to follow. Okay, number 1. Close and lock all doors, windows and curtains. Check. Number 2. Turn off all lights, use a candle if necessary. Check. Number 3. Make sure Granny isn't in the room. I would actually suggest that Grandpa also leaves the room if necessary. Check. Number 4. Set the computer volume at maximum, then load and play the game. You will be surprised. Are you ready? Okay, check. Wow, that scream used to scare the shit out of me as a child. And to be honest, it still gives me cold shivers. But we better get used to it, because we will hear the scream every time someone bites the dust, and also sometimes when you find a dead body. Okay, first of all, what is this game all about? You play a visitor of the Crystal Lake holiday camp where Jason Voorhees is on the rampage. Your task is to identify Jason, who disguises as one of 10 visitors, find a safe sanctuary for the other 9 visitors, and defeat Jason. The game has 5 levels, and in each level you play a different character. These are the 5 characters: Gary King, Wendy Watson, Brian Bone, Amanda Baxter and Stuart Palmer. In the first level you play Gary King, and you always start in the church, not only with him, also with the other ones. The church is one of 3 buildings that you can enter in the game. The other 2 buildings are a cabin and a barn. The rest takes place outside. Below the main screen on the left you have the score, and underneath you have 3 indicators. The first one is the so-called scarometer, which shows the panic level of the character. The more he or she panics, the more the hair stands on end. And according to the manual, Jason always attacks the person with the highest panic level. Next is the strength of the character. The higher the weight bar, the more hit points you have, so basically a life bar. And next to it is sanity, which is basically a timer. It's a picture of Jason's masks that begins to fill in, and when it's complete, it's game over, because your character goes insane. Then on the right side you see your current weapon, and below you have the status of the other 10 visitors. And if someone gets killed, you see a gravestone instead of the person. So here is how you play the game. First you should find the cross, which is located in one of the 3 buildings. The room with the cross is the safe sanctuary for the visitors, and after you found it you can tell people to go and stay in that room by touching them. If you want, you can pick up the cross and place it in any other room, but you can't use it as a weapon or place it outside. Now that you find the cross, try to find as many visitors as possible and tell them to go there. For every person that stays in the room with the cross you get 10 points every second. And in the end, find Jason or identify as which visitor Jason disguises and stop him with one of 9 available weapons. There are 5 melee weapons: a knife, a pitchfork, a machete, a chainsaw and an axe. The axe is the strongest weapon in this game. And there are also 4 throwing weapons: a small axe, a hammer, a spear, and the 4th one is hard to tell, but I think it's a dart. The cross and all the weapons will be relocated every time at random. Right from the beginning you should pick up the first weapon that you come across and change it later to a better weapon, just in case you encounter Jason right at the beginning, because sometimes he doesn't use his disguise and just walks around in his black clothes. And yeah, that's basically the game. After you finish the first level with Gary King, you start the next level with Wendy Watson, then Amanda Baxter, then Brian Bone, and lastly Stuart Palmer. And after that, the game starts all over again. So you can't really finish this game, it is all about the high score. Also, the only things that change from level to level are that Jason gets slightly stronger and some characters have more health than others. The graphics are below average, except for the title screen and two scary pictures which might appear when you find a dead body. The music is actually pretty good for a Commodore 64 game. It contains 7 different music tracks like Old MacDonald Has a Farm and some classical music from Johann Sebastian Bach and Ludwig van Beethoven. The controls are simple and yeah, in my opinion the game has a very good atmosphere. But the game also has a couple of issues, like the time limit during the levels. Now, I didn't clock it, but you have about 45 minutes to complete a level, which is way too much for such a simple game. So there isn't really a time limit in this game. It can happen also that Jason and other visitors get stuck at obstacles like a fence. Every now and then you will also see some graphic bugs in the game, which mostly happens during a fight with Jason. Then, yeah, funny thing, the characters don't look like the images. I mean, Wendy looks like Amanda, Amanda looks like Wendy, Stuart and Gary look the same, and Brian looks also completely different, but now I'm getting nitpicky. If you want, you can easily cheat in this game, which I would not recommend because it takes all the fun out of the game. But if you want, you can revive people by hitting them a couple of times. Or you could walk around and attack each person one time to check which one is Jason. He will reveal himself for 1 second if he gets attacked while wearing his disguise. And you only get a small time penalty each time you're attacking an innocent person, so the game doesn't really punish you for that. Then there are also some other things that people are complaining about, like Jason doesn't look like in the movies, or your character runs twice as fast as everyone else, or you have unlimited ammunition with the throwing weapons. And yeah, in the end the game is too easy. Now, I'm not saying that this is a hard game, but if you stick to the rules and don't cheat, it's not that easy. And if you want it to be challenging, try to play the game by using the knife as your only weapon. Or you can also download a remastered version of the game called Sunday the 15th from a website called noname.c64.org for a Commodore 64 emulator. I put a link in the description box. And yeah, in this version many bugs were fixed, and it also has some new content / features like the Jason bonus round, where you play Jason for 3 minutes and yeah, do his job. Now, I could have ended my review right here, but I also wanted to give you a quick look at the box.